Hello everyone and welcome to another Bass Singer First Time Reaction and Analysis. My name is Peter Barber. I am primarily a professional opera singer, music producer, and of course a bass vocalist. Today we're going to be checking out Hellfire, metal cover by Jonathan Young. Believe it or not, I have never seen his cover of this. I've heard people raving about it for as long as I can remember. I have even collaborated with Jonathan Young. He was in the Bass Gang's recent cover of Centuries. And it was really amazing to have him. I mean, the dude is legit YouTube famous. He has like over 2 million subs. He has even more subs than Dimash. Legitimately YouTube famous. And he's so ridiculously talented as a singer and an instrumentalist and an arranger. And he does these amazing metal covers. I just watched his recent one of Moana, the song of How Far I'll Go by Moana. I'll leave a card here for that. Fucking so good. I absolutely loved it. It worked so well in metal style. But today we're doing Hellfire. This is, of course, from Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I was thinking Anastasia. Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, which, honest to God, I think I only saw once. And I don't know this song. I just actually watched it a bit ago to kind of like refresh my memory. And there was no memory whatsoever. So I think the last time I saw it, which was probably one time, I think I was probably a wee lad, probably 5 years old. So, anyway, guys, that's that. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below for the algorithm. If I'm enhancing your listening experience, check out my Patreon, link below. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to all my stuff, and you support me as an artist, as a singer, as a creator, as a reactor, as a teacher, whatever you want to, however you want to support me, however you want to frame it, that's cool with me. Without further ado, the legendary Jonathan Young, my friend, John, let's see what you do here, my man. Let's do it.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata.
So Jonathan naturally totally is a bass. If you've heard him sing with the Bass Gang, if you heard some of his other covers, it's blatantly obvious. He has crazy low notes and he can do this crazy growl-like technique. More like a throat bass that he can go even lower. So he's naturally a bass, and the singer in the original, I just listened to a minute ago, also sounds like a natural bass. Not singing, too low into the depths, but a natural bass. Whoever sang that, whoever the part was written for. Let's go back and see a little bit more. It's like, even when Jonathan Young isn't putting grit into his sound, his voice still has an edge to it. That comes from good vocal fold closure, which, he gets. I mean, when he sings high without the grit, his vocal folds are coming together really tight. He's getting a ton of bite in the sound. But because he's a natural bass, his voice is always going to maintain some level of warmth into it because there's a lot of pharyngeal space. He's got thick vocal folds. That's how the bass voice works. Before I go on too many tangents, let's just run that back. I believe we're in, I heard a C1 in the beginning, so maybe we're in C minor. C major, actually.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common vulgar weak licentious class.
So we're just getting into it, and he's already putting this kind of rock metal grit into his sound. Not much. He's not sustaining any pitch on it. It's just like it'll come in and out a little bit. It just adds a little to the vocal production, to the delivery of the song, which of course is very fitting if you're doing a metal cover. And really would have been fitting. I mean, the original could have been metal too. It would have worked. I just watched the scene. It's badass. It's like devils and, gods and angels and corruption and Hellfire. That is metal, baby, And what I also like he's doing is he's putting a little vibrato in there, which is fitting and was also in the original. It's very common of musical theater to switch back and forth, or Disney. They're very similar, honestly, Disney singing versus musical theater singing, to have a lot of straight tone with no vibrato, and then when you have a sustained pitch, add vibrato. That's exactly what Jay Young is doing here. He's going through this whole phrase, a little bit of grit in the sound, and when there's a sustained pitch for a certain amount of time, he will allow the vibrato to come through. Because this is not an opera. This is not classical art song. You don't want to have vibrato going through the whole time. You don't sing this song like a bel canto aria. You sing this song like a metal cover based on musical theater, essentially. And even though there are moments here where he totally listen when he says weak, he comes off the voice completely. And so what that means is the vocal folds actually stop coming together and it just becomes grit. You lose the phonation, you lose the pitch. But it works here. And what he's also doing is he's enunciating really well. He's got great diction here. So you hear clearly all these consonants. And powerful consonants is another good way to rev up the intensity of a song, rev up the intensity of the delivery of the text. So both the grit and the consonants is really what's taking this song from its musical theater original to the next metal level. And that's not even talking about the instrumentation, which is obviously different than the original as well. Again, sustained pitch and troll. Lets the vibrato come through. This is so good. And something I love about Jonathan Young, well, I love so many things about his music and his singing and his voice. He's so goddamn talented. He deserves 2 million subs for sure. He commits so hard to the acting in these videos. Never mind. I don't know what his budget was for this. It's not a super high budget music video. It's a good music video. It's as much as you need on YouTube for sure. But it's not a $25,000 music video. It's pretty low budget. He's got costumes. He's got some effects going on, but he's just so committed to the acting and the character. I mean, it looks like he's losing his mind, which, is what you're supposed to look like if you're playing this part. It's like you're torn up about this subject matter, and it's like this. It's like this, and you see that really come through in his acting. So that big love. It's tough to sit there in front of a camera and get super weird and vulnerable. It is. It's a tough thing to do, but Jay Young's a pro. He's been a pro for years. This came out 5 years ago. He's been a pro. He's been in the game for a long time. Let me see okay, so there was a big ritardando, meaning the tempo slowed down a bunch, but then it came back, and then I want to see if it came back into the original or if it's totally different. The original was bum, 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 bum. So either you could take it, it kind of went to like drum and bass tempo, which is like 170 to 180 BPM, or you could say, it kind of almost feels like it's in halftime, like a 180 BPM, but like feels more like 90, aside from the drums. There are these big hits on. But you have the drums going. So you have this huge dichotomy of like hitting the big beats with all this action happening in between. But it did radically change tempos from the original. It did a big slowdown. And then you could argue either it jumped way up or went down even further if you're thinking about it in halftime. Either way, big change. so good. Wow. And another thing he does is he has so many different vocal colors when he's singing. You know, he's not afraid to pull off the voice. He's not afraid to use grit. He's not afraid to darken it or soften it. That's what you love when they're using the full range of what their voice can do to fully express whatever they're trying to express. Jonathan Young is so good at that. We gotta go back. I want to hear this transition again. Again, another tempo change. See, I mean, he's really trying to show off in this acting demonstration that he's losing his mind over thinking about this. Now, again, I haven't seen the story. I don't really know the story. I haven't seen it in a long time. There's a gypsy girl involved. He wants her to burn, right? He either wants her or he wants her to burn. I think that's the ultimatum. It's a little intense. Very operatic, really. There's so much tempo change, which is tough to coordinate. It's really rare. I mean, yeah, in Disney music you get it, in opera you get it all the time. In pop music you almost never get it, you know. But it's cool to hear a song with so much tempo change. It keeps it interesting. It's like, what are we going to next? You know, we started off, I don't even remember where we started, but then we went to like drum and bass. Then we went to like pretty classic metal. And now we're going back to something else as he's about to pray to Maria. That was really well done. So this burn the fires. He goes full on metal grit when he's saying either you're going to burn in hell, and then he completely removes all of it when he says or you're going to be mine. So it's like burn in hell or be mine. It's like very much like rocker versus like cherub choir, you know? Great. That's kind of like text painting where, you know, what you're doing. This is not text painting, but it's like text painting where you're doing like vocally, both like what you're saying matches the actual delivery, matches like the actual phonation, matches the style in which you're delivering the text. It's a nice touch.
Find her. I will find her if I have to do there. I will find her.
I think that's modulated. There's a quality of a fake amount of pharyngeal. I've demonstrated this before. If you make a lot of pharyngeal space and you pull your tongue way back, you can make it sound very fake and like almost like it's like this doesn't even really sound like my voice. Now I'm doing that naturally, but of course I'm forcing it there. This sounds like he sang something and just pitched it down in his DAW, in his digital audio workstation, just pitched it down and didn't account for formants, which are a reflection of the shape of the vocal tract. So if you don't account for that and you just pitch something down, then it goes from like this to sounding like this and like way, like I have this giant throat, I sound like I'm 10 feet tall, right? So I think that's the effect there. I don't think he's saying that lower part naturally. Maybe he did. Maybe he's doing exactly what I'm demonstrating now. That's totally possible.
I will find her. I will find her.
Yeah, I think it's fake.
I will find her if I have to burn down all of
Oh, tears. He's crying. Some nice vibrato there. I was expecting a big gritty belt. But he didn't. He kept the phonation clean. He must be saving the gritty belt for the end. Dude is committed, man. I told you. Told you he's committed. Sheesh. He went up to a... Went to a high G in chest. Then gave us a roar, like a legit, just like... at the end. And I thought the ending was cool because it was flashing in and out of him. It was like... It was like you'd see him crying, then it would flash away, then it would flash back, and you'd see him crying. That was a really, really cool effect there at the end. Also, if you hear a hum right now, I've realized, because now I've got the AC turned off, which used to be interrupting my videos. But I realized, like, my computer is like, sometimes when it's working hard, it'll just, you'll hear the fan cooling it off, and I think that leaks into the, unfortunately, that leaks into my microphone, so you hear that sometimes. So I'm sorry about that. I'll be back to my normal setup pretty soon. I'll be back in Philly pretty soon. I'll probably be back in... No, I won't. I might be back in Philly by the time this comes out, but obviously I'm recording this, so I'm still in Santa Fe. So apologies for that. Okay, this is my first reaction ever to Jonathan Young. I love and respect him and his music so much, but I haven't seen all that much of his stuff, to be honest. I just haven't gone down the Jay Young rabbit hole, really, like you know, pretty much all my colleagues have. Bobby, Tommy, Marwan, all those guys, you know, they know his stuff super well. I haven't really done that yet. So if you guys like this, comment below. If you want to see me break down more of Jonathan Young's music, I'd be happy to. Obviously, I'm a huge fan. So yeah, let me know below if I should do more Jonathan Young, and if you have suggestions about which ones I should do by him, please let me know. But anyway, guys, this was my first time reaction and analysis to Jonathan Young's metal cover of Hellfire from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, excusez-moi. And I will see y'all for the next one. Please like, subscribe to the channel, comment below, check out my Patreon. That's all. Peace.